Hi there, I'm Dean Heskin, President and CEO of Swiss America Trading Corporation, and thank you so much for tuning into our podcast, The Secret War on Cash. And there is a war going on cash. We're going to get right into that today. The first war, if you will, Bitcoin, which has been all over the news over the last larger than several months, a couple of years now. Huge theft, huge Bitcoin theft. We'll talk about that first. And then secondly, we're going to get into how some of the other performers out there, and in particular, we're going to look at gold, but same thing applies with silver. And we're going to do all this with my co-host, Chris Agelastos. Chris, thanks for joining us, and let's get right into it.
All right.
So on our podcast over the last few years, we've been talking quite a bit about Bitcoin, cryptos and various things of that nature. And a concern I've always had, and I'm not alone in this, I know a lot of people have had, is like, how secure, how stable is it? And in this particular one, we'll look at this first article that CC, our producer, just put up here. $14.5 billion theft of Bitcoin. Now, to be fair, the theft actually took place in 2020. And in 2020, that Bitcoin was worth $3.5 billion, but it has now appreciated to 14.5 billion.
Yep.
The hacker still holds the coins. It's a very short article, but still holds the coins. And they were last moved. I don't even know enough about it to where like how they would even know this, but it was last moved, they're saying, in 2024. Okay. And
Yep.
the owner of it, and it's in that article there. Do you know what the name of it is? It's like
Lubian
Illuvian, yeah.
Technologies or something like that, a Chinese company.
Okay. So they are asking them to give it back. Okay. And they're offering a reward. Now,
Hmm.
the proper thing to do, I would suggest, is yes, to give it back. If something's not yours, you should give it back. That's the polite thing to do. That's the right thing to do. But this is a hacker who took it, and I'm not so sure like hackers really are all about doing the proper polite thing, and
Probably not.
therefore returning it. And so then as you get into it, it just says a reward, and they're sitting on $14.5 billion.
Hmm.
What kind of a reward are you going to get for that? But also, if you're not the type who's inclined to do what's right and give it back in the first place,
Yeah.
isn't anything less than $14.5 billion doesn't seem like a good deal.
Right.
So this is what is it always been a concern of mine. Like, what is the recourse with Bitcoin? What is the recourse when something like this happens? Because if there was any kind of recourse, this happened in 2020. Don't you
Yep.
think like we would have something would have happened by now? There's certainly no doesn't any authorities or any kind of officials going after these people. So I don't
Yeah.
understand. Like, why would these people even give their money back if they're not
Yeah.
ethically inspired or motivated to do so?
Yeah. Well, they were hoping that they could, lure them in with a reward and essentially saying, "Thank you for exposing this weakness in our platform. We would like you to
Yeah,
return the
they're called
funds,
like
and we'll give you a
white
reward."
hats. They're
Yeah.
called like
Yep.
white hats or white hat. That
Yeah. We're
white hat for those
hackers
tuning in.
basic. Yeah. Go
Yeah, that
ahead.
white hats is a term they use for like hackers who are trying to expose vulnerabilities.
Right.
And but I don't believe that moniker seems to be given to them after the fact. I don't think they
Yeah.
signed up as a white hat and said, "Hey,
No.
we're going to test the integrity of your system and then give the stuff back." I don't. It doesn't seem
Yeah.
to me that's what happened.
No, I think, I think they know, they being Lubian, this company that lost this, now $14.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, realizes that they're not going to get their money back. And so the best chance they have is maybe by agreeing to give a portion of it to these hackers, and at least that way they can each walk with something, and maybe then the hackers could access the funds and spend it without fear of being caught, because that is one of the things here they've said, that that the Bitcoin has basically been laying there dormant. So they haven't used any of the money. They haven't cashed out any of the coins. It's just been sitting there. Um, and so maybe if they form some sort of agreement here, at least they could comfortably spend, let's say, half of it, right? Maybe they each get 7 billion or something like that. But no, you're right. I don't think that's going to happen, and it really does highlight a lot of the security concerns. Again, this was 5 years ago that this happened, and they still have no idea who did it, and don't have any way of getting the money back, even though somehow they know that it's been moved around to some different wallets. They still don't have access to be able to retrieve it, and I think that's because, look, crypto and Bitcoin being a crypto, this is still the Wild West. Not
Oh
all
yeah.
nations have agreed to how to treat this, or if every nation on the planet agreed that we're not going to allow this type of thing to happen, and we're going to track everything, and criminals are going to be brought to justice, then that would at least be some sort of punishment. But the whole selling point, or one of the large selling points of cryptocurrency, is that it is private. So, and that's
Very.
the real
It's
challenge here. It's
well,
so
so
private that somebody can take it and not get in trouble for taking it.
well, and let me ask you. So I wonder, like, what if this is like a trick that Lubian is playing on them? And I'll
Mhm.
explain what I mean. So they're offering this reward. So if these hackers, they come forward and say, okay, let's talk reward. Number one, they're exposing themselves, like who
Yeah.
they are in some
Right.
way, shape, or form. Now, I'm sure there's a cryptic way, no pun intended, that they could probably like approach Lubian and
Yeah.
begin discussions. But then the Nubian comes back, and let's just say they say, okay, we'll give you $10 million of the $14.5 billion, and they say, no, kick rocks, we don't want to do that. But now they're out in the open, they're exposed because they've been in these communications. So like,
Hmm.
so maybe that's a reason why, maybe because I agree with you, like if they're kind of landlocked with not being able to spend the crypto because they don't want to get caught or whatever else, that's one thing. But if they come forward at all, and now again, now they've put themselves on the radar, that might give the authorities enough proper cause to go after them. It's kind of, but I guess right now you got $14.5 billion just sitting there collecting dust.
Yeah.
So something at some point I would suspect is going to happen. Now,
Well, at least it's
looking at
grown.
this,
It's
yeah,
growing while it's sitting there.
yeah. So looking at that in one of our previous podcasts, our last podcast we did actually, we're talking about how after the BRICS summit, the that BRICS nations were seeking safety in gold, silver, and Bitcoin, in actual
Yep.
Bitcoin, this very same product that was just stolen from this Chinese corporation. And so that's where ever since Bitcoin kind of hit the map or the radar, when people describe it, they describe it like, what do they call it? Digital gold, and it's got
Hmm.
privacy, portability, safety, all the things that you would use to describe gold or use to describe silver. Well, let me tell you something. You don't wait if you have physical gold and silver, you don't wake up and find that it just evaporated out of your safe or your safety deposit box or the depository it's stored in. You can't even draw the comparison. Now, looking
Right.
at that, here's the thing. Look at going into this next article here. For those of you tuning in, if you have not gotten into gold yet, and we've since we even started our podcast a couple of years ago, gold was less than $2,000 an ounce, and now it's like 33, 34. And look what we're talking
Yeah.
about here. And by the end of the year, conservatively, and these are conservative estimates, because Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan just a week or two ago came out and we're talking about by year's end, they anticipate $4,000 an ounce gold. But even using the math in this article, 2025, $3,500 an ounce gold, 2026, 3,900, and by 2030, $5,100. So,
Yep.
I mean, you're looking at, and going into this article, and of all the articles that we've posted on our podcast, for those of you tuning in, I really, really would encourage you, if you want to understand and look at really what's been happening with gold, this is a good one to use because it really highlights, like I'll just give you a little cliff note here. Gold chart over the last 20 years, they say stunningly bullish over the last 20 years.
Yep.
inflation expectations chart strongly correlated with gold, and how gold is so bullish in inflationary periods, which is what they're talking about. It talks about the gold and inflation ratio. Look at a gold chart over 50 years. I mean, this information is this is gold. It is something
Yep.
that it is gold. You should take advantage of it. So, what is going? Tell us about these numbers, Chris, and
Yeah.
what you see happening with gold, and are these numbers they're giving us correct? Are they accurate?
Yeah, they certainly look to be, and again, like you said, they're a little bit conservative versus what a lot of the other predictions are out there. But even using that conservative math, they're talking about approximately 12% growth this next year, another 12% the following year. Within the next 4 years from now, 50% growth. These are big returns. And I think a lot of people that aren't familiar with gold wouldn't expect those kind of numbers. Maybe in their heads they think 5, 6, 7%, which is still, good money this day and age. I mean, you're probably lucky to get 3% from your bank if you lock it up in CDs. But I don't think the average person realizes they can hold gold in physical form. Actual bars or coins is what most people prefer these days. And while it's sitting there in your safe or in your safe deposit box, it's not just collecting dust. It's also growing 12% this next year, another 12% the year following, right? Good returns, yet you also have the physical safety and security of having a real product that you're right. You can't just log in the morning and see it disappear. I mean, even your money in a checking account, even though you have some FDIC insurance, I check my account every day because I'm paranoid, I suppose, probably from reading these articles with you, that somebody's going to hack into my bank account and transfer money out, and that's a real worry that people have to have this day and age. But I don't worry about my gold sitting in a safe or in a private depository. That's the stability and security that I have, along with my home. I feel good about having real estate, here in the United States. I know that that's always going to have some value, even though it can fluctuate depending on interest rates and what else is happening in the world. But these sorts of tangibles protect us from the unknown that we have with Bitcoin. And not that I'm saying cryptocurrencies are bad. I mean, by all means, if you want to put some of your money in some of the cryptos and play with it or gamble a little bit to some extent, there's nothing wrong with that. But make sure that you have a good, secure foundation. And I think that's where gold and silver can help the average person.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, Chris. And I don't know if we've talked about this on a podcast before or not, but it's kind of embarrassing. I do own some crypto, and I bought crypto years ago, and not for investment, not for speculative reasons, but I did so because uh, in anticipation of at Swiss America, our company, if we were to start receiving it as form of payment and things of this nature, which we're looking into further now because this is the way the world is moving. But this all being said and done, it was kind of early on that I did this, and I had done it through Coinbase. Long story short, I was able to get into my account and sell it at one point, but I cannot access the funds. I don't know where they're at. And it's embarrassing to say that. And it's not, thankfully, a lot of money, although I have no idea what it is. No idea. And what I'm getting at, there's they tell me to, if I can't get into my account or don't have my password, like most places,
Mhm.
send us click this thing, we'll send you an email to reset it. I never get the email ever. And
Hmm.
there's no customer service line. There's no one to
Yeah, who do
contact.
you call? That's right. Yeah,
It's- and
how do you
so
reach somebody?
and I do have another some other crypto now, and I'm staying on top of this one a little better. But the point of it all is like, how do you like these are real life issues. I mean, think of like just our traditional banking system when you could go in there and do your banking or whatever, but every once in a while there's a hiccup. And at
Yeah,
the end of the day, you needed to get on the phone with somebody and or go into the bank and talk to somebody to get it ironed out. How is it that the crypto market has bypassed the human error or just the technological error or all these other things? So It
Yeah.
really is kind of scary when you get right down to it. And we talk about, and we'll kind of wrap up with this, but what the gold projections are for up until 2030, et cetera. And these estimates they've given, like, and again, others have done the same. But one thing that I really would point out is that I would call these estimates very conservative because they all are based on the assumption of things kind of moving at the status quo, what they have been. But you let
Right.
some kind of disruption with our debt, our deficits, our dollars, something BRICS does, or whatever, you throw a monkey wrench like that in this, folks, and now all of a sudden, what was a $4,000 projection for gold, just like we saw with Bitcoin exploding, all of a sudden you could be looking at the price of gold at $50,000 an ounce. And so
Right.
it really is, for those of you tuned in, critically important that you be diversified today, not tomorrow. And you can do that if by contacting our office, get free information, free consultation or conversation with one of our representatives. You can call us at 1-800-289-2646, or you can text 1-800-289-2646. Request some information, request a phone call. Visit us online at www.swissamerica.com. And we'd love to get some information out to you and help you better understand and get positioned in this marketplace sooner versus later. Chris, thanks for the information. For those tuned in,
Yep.
thanks for doing so. If you're not following this podcast, please do that as well. And keep up with us on social media. You can see the links there to do so in the show description. And other than that, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you real soon.
Take care.